Real people, real talk.
Made to help people in our community in every way. For your girl,
As of early August, there had already been about 500 shootings in Milwaukee and about a little more than 150 homicides. It has people scratching their heads. What is going on? And then some people are not fazed by it anymore. Meanwhile, lives are shattered, families are grieving, and anger is brewing. Hello, everyone. I'm Beverly Taylor, and this is the 411 Live, Real People, Real Talk. My guest today is very important, and I'm really, really glad that he's here. But he says that the violence we're experiencing is like a contagious virus. And that description, I think, is fantastic because I think that really describes it really, really well. Let me introduce you to him, Cornelius Hall. He is a violence interrupter supervisor for 414 Life and also works with the Milwaukee Christian Center as a credible messenger field lead. And he is also a certified gang expert. Welcome to you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. You know what? I was listening. Was I reading or listening to a Bible study and the name Cornelius came up? Yeah. And I thought, I'm going to be talking to a Cornelius. All right. So I really, really like your title, that violence interrupter, because, you know, what we need is some interruption of violence that's going on. And, you know, just to be frank and be true, it's not just Milwaukee. I mean, this is happening all over the country, but Milwaukee is what we're focused on and what we're concerned about right now. Like I said, I like your title, but I want to know what a violence interrupter means. I mean, what do you do?
All right. Well, first thing first, the violence interrupter started in Chicago, Illinois, under the Cure Violence motto. Mm-hmm. We actually took that motto here. The Office of Violence Prevention took the motto, you applied it to Milwaukee, and 414 Life was created as a violence interrupter, more or less. What I do is, of course, I respond to shootings, unfortunately, murders also in the city. We really help out the family after the fact because it is an extremely traumatizing event. And what people also don't understand is the neighborhood is also traumatized.
Yeah.
So we get boots on the ground. We have half of our team helping the family. We have half of our team helping the community that the violent act has taken place in. And then, and that's mostly outreach. So then we go to the violence interrupter part. That's where I come in. I get down to why did it happen, the who, what, when, why, where. If there were street gangs involved, I'm gonna go talk to both different street gangs. If it was a personal dispute, I'm gonna go talk to the families of both parties, the victim and the possible perpetrator. Uh-huh. And of course, that could be considered high risk at times, depending on who we're dealing with, depending on the area. But that's kind of a job that I decided to take on. Someone has to do it. And we do it in hopes of stopping future retaliations because in this day and age, revenge is something that is expected within our culture in the inner city. So we try to stop that. We try to change the minds of the people that are involved, family members. And in a good amount of time, we do actually get good results. But also, again, it is hard to document a shooting or murder that didn't take place.
Right. Yeah.
That's extremely hard to do. And at the higher levels of 414 Life, the Office of Violence Prevention, the City of Milwaukee, we're trying to figure out better ways to capture that.
Okay. So when you go in, okay, it's happened, you are going to the different groups. Say it's a gang thing.
Yeah.
And you're talking to both sides. I mean, you're going there in the height of the emotion and everything, right?
Yeah. One of our sayings at 414 Life is we meet people where they are. So I'm literally going to the neighborhood that these people reside in. I'm literally going to their home. If they decide that, I'm going to feel comfortable with 20 of my people on this block, that's where I'm going. Mm-hmm. And of course, we always have an understanding before we go. We always make sure that we're safe. We never go anywhere alone. Um, but yes, we're meeting people essentially where they are, not just physically, but mentally too.
Right.
Exactly where they are, whatever mindset they're in, we're going to meet them right there.
Okay. So I'm a mediator, but
Okay.
I do mediation with dealing with child custody or different things
Okay.
like that. Nothing what you're dealing with. So at that point, I'm just like, you've got to de-escalate because folks are,
Correct.
they're tense. This has happened. What do you do? I mean, how do you do that?
It depends on the person.
Okay.
We do come in, we pay really close attention to the person's their livelihood. I mean, down to their living situation. We're going to pay attention to all that. Of course, we're going to try to gain some leverage because we have so many different resources that are at our fingertips due to OVP, due to the Medical College of Wisconsin. So we are going to come in with something to give also.
Okay.
The outlook is okay, we're going to try to stop this situation, but we are going to try to improve your life along with that.
Ah.
It's easier to get people to listen to you and try to hear you out if, my living situation will change, my employment situation will change. So not only are you not going to go to jail or be killed, you may be employed, you may have a roof over your head.
Okay.
You got to come in and offer something. I mean, you come in empty-handed. I mean, what can you tell a person that is in a blood feud with someone else if they're homeless and this is all their life is right now? There's no incentive to stop.
Right. And you meet a lot of people in that situation.
Oh
right?
yeah, for sure. A lot more than you would think.
Okay. I'm also thinking that in this area that you're working in, you're building relationships too.
Correct. That's the biggest part. As a violence interrupter, my networks mean more than anything. That's the way I find out things. For instance, just to give an example, a shooting, fight, or something takes place. We assist people. We bring that situation to a ceasefire. That person knows me now. Both people know me. Due to how violence truly is, it's truly like a virus. People around them are infected with it too. So the next shooting, the next fight is going to be their family member. It's going to be their friend. And due to me making that connection with them during our first mediation, now I'm connected with them. Now they're adding me on Instagram. Now I'm seeing their stories. I'm seeing what they're up to, what they're going to be up to. And it builds a bigger and bigger network. Milwaukee it's a bigger city, but it's very small. I don't want to get percentages out here, but I believe it's a very small percentage of people doing all the shootings.
Right. That is what yeah.
They all know each other.
Yeah.
One way or another, maybe one person of separation away, but they all know each other. So you mediate with one person. Through that one person, you met 5. So there's 2 people in the mediation. That's 10 people. The network gets bigger.
Bigger and bigger. Yeah.
Every single time.
So do you have people sometimes calling you saying, Cornelius, this is brewing?
All the time.
All the time.
Daily. And it's not just calls. It's Instagram too. It's Snapchat. It's Facebook. People are constantly reaching out. What I've learned, most people, they don't want to shoot people. Most people, they don't want to die. They got into this argument. They had no idea that this guy was going to take it this far. The guy that took it that far, the only reason he took it that far because he thought the other guy was going to take it that far.
Wow. It's saving face or
correct.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it is. It's mostly saving face. No one really wants to do this. Of course, you have the people that really want to. For the most part, no one wants to do it. So instead of we're going to let you keep your ego and we're going to go handle this for you.
I like that. Yeah.
We're not going to even, and neither side is going to say they don't want the problem. Both sides are going to, I'll do this, I'll do that. But okay, that's cool. But just let us go do the talking. We got you. And we usually come to a ceasefire due to that.
This is phenomenal to me. I mean, to me, I look at the problem the solution, I guess, as almost like a mixing bowl with, for cake and the ingredients that have to go into this.
Correct.
And I'm looking at the violence interrupters as a big part of the ingredients. Correct. And then there are other things that go in the mix as well, the resources and all these other things. But boots on the ground, going where people are, I don't see how it works without that.
I agree. Before getting into this, I didn't know this existed. So there was a man at Forum for Life, Hamed. He passed away. He was one of the first people I seen do this. I was amazed by it, and I was thinking, if only that was around when I was younger, like how many lives would have been saved, how many people would have had the opportunity to walk away from something, because we create those opportunities to walk away. It's so easy to walk away when there's people calling you, checking up on you, like you better not have done this, That was really my motivation for starting this, just seeing it actually work. And I'm like, okay, I need to become part of this. I need to do this.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. I mean, it just works. You haven't had any pushback on this program, have you?
Politically, no. If we're going to talk about it in the streets of Milwaukee, of course.
Oh, yeah.
So in the streets of Milwaukee, not everyone wants a program like this, because we have to keep in consideration, if I'm stopping a conflict from taking place, I'm gonna also offer both parties resources. These resources, that job, that housing in a different part of town, if it's a teenager, I could be taking a drug runner away from a drug dealer. I could be taking a street gang's main shooter, quote unquote, away from the gang,
Right.
These are things that happen because during this mediation, I'm giving them this small ray of hope. They're seeing that it's a different life.
Right. You know what? We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and we're going to continue this discussion. A great discussion, by the way, Cornelius. So stay with us. This is the 411 Live. Real people, real talk.
In the society that we were brought up in, it's very hard on little black boys. You have to navigate feelings and emotions so the world don't get you.
Sometimes when I cry, I won't know how I'm feeling or why I'm crying.
I just grew up never feeling like it was okay to cry.
Yeah.
And so he really forced me to have to reconnect with the kid that didn't get to cry.
That's beautiful.
We don't cry. We gon' take our piece of the pie.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
The sad reality is fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kids should know.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
I don't know why you're so sad. You've got a roof over your head.
Bro, you gotta stop with that depression stuff. That's a white people thing.
Escúchame, en esta casa, los hombres no lloran.
You all right?
It just feels like it's coming from everywhere.
Do you want to talk about it?
Thanks for hearing me out, bro. Appreciate it.
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad. Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
My name is Gary Parker. I served as a Cavalry Scout and a military policeman in the United States Army for 20 years. When I was a Cavalry Scout, we had a young lieutenant that came in, great guy, but he moved on, got promoted to lieutenant colonel, went on to Afghanistan, and I was able to keep in contact. And I wake up one morning, go on social media, and there's that post you don't want to see. For whatever reason, he took his own life. Nobody knows why he did it. And if there's something that we could have done to prevent it from happening, safe gun storage can prevent gun suicide because it's that added step to get to your firearm that might just give somebody a moment of reflection on what they're doing. As a veteran, we need to be ambassadors to people that don't have the knowledge that we have. Anytime you're not storing a weapon safely, you're putting yourself and your community at risk. Service never stops.
Welcome back to the 411 Live. I'm here with Cornelius Hall. He is a violence interrupter in the city of Milwaukee. We've been talking about a lot of things, but I wanted to kind of get around to there's so many phases within what you do. I remember when we talked earlier, we were talking about, and I think I asked, are people always receptive? And you told me the story about a man who didn't want to accept the resources or didn't want the help. No, I'm good. And you saw him again. Can you tell that story again?
Okay, so I'm not gonna lie. There's so many stories like that you're gonna have to remind me of the exact.
Oh, okay.
I've had like 4 of them since the last time I talked to you.
Oh,
So,
wow. Okay, so this one, you saw him, and then you ended up seeing him again at the hospital.
yes, there was a young man got into a conflict. We tried to mediate it. The other guy that was part of the conflict was all for it. Um, he wanted nothing to do with me. He absolutely nothing to do with me. Didn't even want to talk to me. Okay, have it your way. But I gave him the rundown of it, gave him my card, and gave him my opportunity to reach out. 2 weeks later, he was shot in another incident that had nothing to do with the person from the first interaction that we had. So I was reached out to by our hospital response supervisor, and she gave me the guy's name. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm on my way. I go there. I talked to the guy, and unfortunately, I was able to tell him, like, see, I told you we're going to work together. You know?
Right.
Told you we were going to get this together, you know? And unfortunately, to explain how horrible it feels for me when that takes place. There's not really words for it. You know, I'm extremely passionate about what I do. And that story leads into one that isn't as fortunate. We actually had a situation where a car was stolen. A guy went to retrieve his aunt's car that was stolen. Shots were fired. After that day, the team vigorously pursued him and his family to get a mediation out there. We had an idea of who was doing it. We had an idea of the caliber of danger in the situation. And due to the level of danger, we really pursued it. The man and his mother wanted nothing to do with it at all. Unfortunately, 4 weeks later, he was murdered at a gas station. And the amount of loss I think the entire team felt at that time was ridiculous. Of course, I'm not going to say, names, but it became a more high-profile situation due to the nature of the crime. But every time one of those things do take place, I mean, me as a violence interrupter, and I know my entire team, even outreach, we all feel like we've taken a big loss.
Right.
Because that was one we could have got in front of,
Yeah.
So after that situation, I've tried to change tactics when approaching people about our services. Because the last thing I want them to do is pull away. Because the fact of the matter is that 4 on 4 Life, if we come talk to you and you don't know us and we've just come to find you, you're in a situation. You're in a life and death situation.
Mm-hmm.
You're not in you're going to get into a fight at the mall situation. You're in a way bigger situation than that. And of course, we're trying to figure out ways to approach people so that they understand that. We don't scare them, but we get them to a place where, hey, let us help you.
So sometimes they don't realize the danger they're in.
No, the crazy thing is a lot of us in the city of Milwaukee, we see these violent acts happening on the news. And we never, as human beings, we never think that's going to be us. I mean, it could have happened down the street from us.
Yeah.
And I think just the human mind and actually fathoming what death is and how easy of a situation it really is. Death is as easy as walking out of your front door. It's as easy as taking out the garbage. It's really hard for the human brain to fathom that, though.
Yeah.
So most of the time, no one knows that they're going to get shot or killed. They don't even think the person that they're having this situation with is going to really do it. The people that end up doing it, they have no clue they're going to go really do it. So, yeah, that's maybe the hardest part of this job is convincing people like, hey, if you don't let us help you, this will happen. It's not a if, it will.
Right.
You know, it's not a if, it's a when.
They just have to believe and trust that you're telling them.
For sure, because we've seen it so many times.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. How do you, because what you're seeing and dealing with, the shootings, the deaths, the homicides, how do you protect Cornelius?
Oh, man, I've gotten really spiritual in the last year and a half. I was already confirmed Lutheran prior to, got baptized and everything. So I really lean on faith when it comes to that. And of course, I have my other little methods to do stuff. To be honest with you, every time I leave a crime scene, I kind of sage myself before walking into my home. And I leave that outside of my home. To the point that if my wife isn't really bugging me trying to figure out stuff, we're not even going to talk about it. You know, sometimes it just doesn't need to be talking about.
Right.
So, and then of course I have an extremely strong support system at work, both jobs, MCC and 4on4 Life. And we also, through OVP, we also have psychiatrists and everything else too. So our support system is massive.
Wow, that's great. So we talked about being the violence interrupter and that element, but you also Milwaukee Christian Center, and the title Credible Messenger Field Lead. What does the Christian Center do?
Oh my God, the Christian Center has so many different programs, from like a Meal on Wheels type of program, so many different programs for community outreach within Hispanic neighborhoods. It's so many I can.
Yeah, you can't like tick them off.
Exactly.
Yeah, I got you.
So I can tell you what VFZ does.
What you do.
So I'm part of a sector of it called Violence Free Zone. It is a program that's within NPS schools, and it's more of a big brother, big sister program within the schools. We kind of assist the kids on their basic needs, but also we assist their families on bigger needs that may be needed outside of the school. We realize that if the home is good, the school work is going to get done. But if things are going on in the home, it's gonna reflect on a kid inside of the school.
Right.
And unfortunately, we also have the mediation part. As you know, in the city of Milwaukee, our youth gang membership is very high right now, very high. Groups like the Kia Boys, and there's a couple other groups I won't name, but there's a lot of them. We have to mediate things between those kids too, to make sure it doesn't spill off into the street, and we have a violence interrupter situation then.
Right.
So yeah, the Violence Free Zone, it's not only us, I believe it's West Care, Running Rebels are part of it. And we're just in all different school, big brother, big sister type program, assisting the kids as much as we can in and out of school.
That's huge. Starting young is very important.
For sure.
We were talking about all the different things. There is a kind of a Milwaukee underworld.
Oh, yes, for
that
sure.
we don't see.
For sure.
And that's where things, I guess, can kind of brew.
Yeah, actually, it's in front of us. It's all around us all the time. When me and my team members at 4 and 4 Life and Milwaukee Christian Center, when we clock in, that's the world we're entering. It's just for us when we clock out to walk out of it and make sure everything is in place for us to walk out of it safely. But yeah, the Milwaukee underworld is all around us. Is very prevalent. It's kind of growing, kind of. It's just become our culture here.
How do you change the culture?
We're trying to figure that out every day. We do have the blueprint for peace from 4 and 4 Life. I should have brung one. That kind of outlines what it takes to have a better community, so that this underworld isn't on every single block. Not saying that it is, but in areas that it's there, it's the majority. And we have in some areas, we have neighbors that are hostage in their own area, unfortunately. But our underworld is expressed within Milwaukee. It's expressed greatly. You can YouTube, you can look at our rap videos. It's all over the news every single night. Most of these situations are all connected.
Right.
It's just unfortunately became almost mainstream.
And that's it's like, oh no.
Yeah.
What is it? Is there gangs and this kind of criminality gives kids something that they're missing, is filling a void?
Actually, and I don't mean to interrupt, but actually,
No, please do.
see, I'm 35, so back when I was coming up, yeah, it was to fill a void. Something wasn't being given in the house. There was basic needs that weren't being met. So you would join something, and you would go outside and sell some drugs, do something. But now it's cool to be in a gang. It's cool to be known as a shooter. It's cool to be a gangster. The craziest thing is in my time period, being a shooter was the lowest level of street person.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
lowest level. No one wanted to be the shooter. And now everyone wants to be the shooter. You become popular from being the shooter. Back when there were guys that they were intellectual, they thought things out, they ran the neighborhood. Now it's who has killed the most people, they run the neighborhoods.
Man, okay. We're almost out of time. Is there something that the community can do?
Get involved. No one can change our communities but us. No matter how much money is given at a government level, it doesn't matter if we're not going to get in there and do the work ourselves. We really have to clean up our own communities. We really have to uplift our own within our own community, block by block. There can't be a situation where we turn a blind eye to it, because today you're the witness, tomorrow you're the victim.
The hard realities, right?
Correct.
All right. Well, like I said, we're out of time. I could talk to you for another hour, I tell you. Cornelius Hall, he is a violence interrupter supervisor for 414 Life, and he is with the Milwaukee Christian Center as a credible messenger field lead, doing some incredible work. So thank you for all your colleagues, for what you guys do. I think, man, I can't say enough about it. It's so needed, so very needed. So thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us for another edition of the 411 Live. Real people, real talk. Go to our website, the411live.org, if you would like to donate. We are a nonprofit organization. Until next time, I'm Beverly Taylor, and this is the 411 Live. Real people, real talk. If you would like to check out past episodes, there are many ways. Go to your favorite podcast platform. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Like and watch us on Facebook. Watch and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you have suggestions for future episodes, go to our website, the411live.org.